Hello. Hey guys, this is the next part in the bayonet build. I've annealed the metal. It is it's now soft enough for for you to be able to hand file it, and all annealing is heating up the metal to critical temperature, which is so hot that it's no longer magnetic, so you can touch a magnet to it and the magnet will not stick. And at that time you need to take it out of the fire and put it into either a pile of ashes or a pile of sawdust or something that's very well insulated that will allow the metal to cool down slowly. So the slower it cools down, the easier it'll be to work once you've got it clamped on to your table or whatever. But right now I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bevel that I've forged into it, and I'm going to go ahead and file it flat, completely flat, and try to take most of the hammer marks out of it. I don't think there's too many in there. And when I get some of this bevel done, I'll come back to you and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, this is the beginning of the bevel. Not sure if you can see that in the lighting. Hope you can. Let's see. There, that's a little better. But this is the beginning of the bevel as it comes out, and I literally probably filed this for maybe a minute, and that's it. And I've already got this nice bevel started. That's because I went ahead and hammered most of the bevel in while I was forging, but this is what it'll end up looking like. And remember guys, whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have a constant angle for your whole bevel. Or at least if you have to change bevels, like here I'm going to have a much shallower angle, but here I'm going to have a steeper angle, because usually out towards the tip it needs to be a little stronger, especially if it's going to be a bayonet type blade. You want this to be what's the word? Not as you want this to be a little bit steeper of a grind, or at least I do. So we've got a nice grind going here, and remember guys, make sure you have the same angle for the entire grind, or try to get it as close as you can. You don't want to have wavy lines. See here, I've got this one that sort of comes out. I'm gonna have to go back in and make this a little bit shallower. That way it all flows together. And you want to try to make sure that both sides match up on the angles, so that you have much smoother cutting and a better performing tool in the end. So I'll check back with you when I've got a little bit further, and I'll give you an update. Another easy way to make sure that you have a constant bevel is to make long strokes down the blade. If you try to work it if you try to work on a small area at a time, you'll end up with those wavy lines that are appealing on some blades, but when you don't do it on purpose, it gives a half-finished look to the blade. So you want to make long, even strokes back and forth to ensure that you have an even, sorry for the shakiness, to ensure that you have an even bevel on your blade. So okay, so I have done most of the filing. Focus, come on now. Maybe over here in the shade. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I've went ahead and put on the secondary bevel. See how the very edge of the blade shames just a little bit. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get a little bit better camera to show you, I guess. But basically, this is most of what the blade's gonna look like. It's got somewhat of an organic curves to it. I normally don't like very straight blades as far as the look of them. If I'm going to make a very nice, usable and good looking blade, I'll put a little curve in it there. to give it sort of a little bit better feel, and they do seem to cut a little bit better or just as good, just depending on what you're cutting and how you're cutting it. So, but it's turning out good. I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm going to go back and do a little bit more grinding, or not grinding, but filing. Speaking of grinding and filing, I am not using any power tools on this yet. Anyway, at least on the blade itself, I'm not using any. I might on the handle. It depends on whether or not I'm going to use the fiberglass or micarta, whatever you want to call it, handle, or if I decide to put an Osage orange handle on it, because I think this would look really good with a nice Osage orange handle. But I haven't really decided yet, so it just depends on how things go and whether or not I want to put a copper cap and things like that on it. So I'll get back to you when I get to the next step. Right now, this is what I have. It's looking good. Let's see if I can get a better shot of it here. I hope you guys are getting better than what I am. 'Cause my, there we go. There, that looks pretty good. Let's flip it over here so you can see the other side. A little bit more file work to do, but basically that's it. That's what it looks like. So I'll check back in with the next step and we'll move on from there. Alright guys, I'm back, and right now I'm doing some decorative filing, some file patterns on the back. I hope you can see them. Oh, let's see, can you? I hope you can see these. But back here I'm doing some chimping, which is just like added grip to your thumb, and then the chimping fades out into this file pattern, which will go all the way up until about right here, and then it'll fade out. I'll have it get gradually shorter to about right here, and then I have this false edge that I grinded in just to help give it a little bit better penetration, if that's what you use to use it for or anything like that. But it's turning out good. I'm liking it. I'm thinking about putting an Osage orange handle on it. This camera really doesn't show how bright this Osage orange is, but it's good stuff. It's been drying for about a year now, and it'd make a good handle. This is just scrap pieces that I have of Osage, and well, depending on how this turns out, still I haven't decided on what handle material to use. But all I'm doing is I'm using a round file, then I'm using the corners of this regular flat file to get whichever shapes for the the corners of this flat file, and then I'm using the round file just to get the shapes, just to get the pattern going. And there you can see all the rounds. They kind of make it look a little snaky. There you might be able to see it a little better. I'll upload some pictures whenever I finish with the knife. That way y'all can see actually what all I'm talking about. But for now, I guess this will have to do, because this camera really doesn't focus all that well. But there it is, and I'll get back to you when all this is done.